and building up their skill. That I think someone in chat was saying like it's been a while since these two teams went up against each other, I think. And so they were actually commenting like that Tass has improved tremendously. And I mean, they're here in the playoffs for a reason. So all that hard work seems to have paid off for them. So good job, that Tass. You're doing good work.
No, I absolutely love it. Now, we are going to be going into Tomb of Spider Queen, though, so that is going to be the map choice for the Bush. So first pick, once again, going over to Dat Tass, though. Real quickly, just to update you guys, the two maps that were banned out before we got started in the series was Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. We'll not be seeing those in this best of 3 series, but let's get into this, as we do have a Garrosh being banned out. And did I lose my in-game sound? Nope, I didn't. I'm all good. Thank God. Thank God for hotkeys. So we are going to be having the Garrosh once again banned out. Not sure. Maybe that might be a comfort pick for the Bush, or it just might be they don't want to deal with that because it is a strong hero. But we are going to be seeing the Stitches banned out. I mean, at Tomb of Spider Queen, it's definitely a map where we can see the Stitches come.
Absolutely. I actually casted a game earlier this season where there's this fantastic 3-person gorge late in the game, I think, from Stitches. And they ended up releasing the gorge onto the boss as it was stunning. And it was just a fantastic play. And I think of that play whenever we come to Team of the Spider Queen. And I totally forget what teams they were, but it definitely was NGS. And it was stellar. But after that last performance, just banning it anyway, like regardless if he's good on this map, it was just played so well by Cryptdigger that definitely worth early ban before they could pick that up.
Yeah, the sustain from that is great. The AoE from the slam, it works well on this map. Really quickly, to Wildcard2, thank you for that follow. I do appreciate the support. Malfurion, though, going to be first picked on the side of Dat Tass, though, once again, putting heavy priority onto Malfurion here. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, it's a great healer. The poke's great. The roots, once again, there's so much great setup. I sang praises of Trevorrow's plays in the last game, and I'm excited to see them in this one. But that does mean that there is an open Stukov, and that is, in my opinion, a very strong healer for this map, as well as the Deckard Cain. But if it's Deckard, maybe we'll see them later, as they do grab the Sonya. Maybe some wave clear, like a Gul'dan or a Kael'thas?
Yeah, additional wave clear would be nice, just so you don't have to only rely on the Sonya. But I don't know if picking up a Gul'dan in second spot would be my go-to, unless they're afraid of banning that out. We're gonna have the beats come in from the Bush. Lucio helping out with those rotations with that speed boost. Got the sound barrier later on in case some of those folks do get rooted by Malfurion. Interesting. I like it. I think there's plenty, depending on which talent tree you go to with Lucio, just the sheer amount of wall surface for a Celerando is super valuable here. I love it, and you said it perfectly. I'm curious if we maybe get something like an Arthas here. Typically in the past, we've seen Lucio be paired with the Arthas because Arthas is really strong at clearing in the lanes, can be played as that tank, has great siege potential on this map, and Lucio does give that speed boost that such an old, beaten up, frail character always gets. But we do have the Malfurion here on the side of Dat Tass, though, and pairing with it, honestly, they've got the Diablo available. I would say grab that. I think it works well with the roots, and then you can get some wave clear, like, once again, the Gul'dan. Like, I personally... Ooh. Green Jesus! What's going on? By the way, just really quickly, Twitch chat's asking, do you remember the bans for Bush in Game 1? Yes, so first ban from the Bush was Stukov, second was Sonya, and then Dat Tass. First ban was Garrosh, second ban was Lili. Thank you so much. I saw you writing them down. I'm like, because I was like, I remember the Stukov, and that's it. But the Lili too. And also, I was like, this might be best of 3. I'm gonna write everything down so I can remember it later on. Thank God you are, because I was just like, I got one. What's the other? At least all good. 1022. Thank you for that follow. I do appreciate that as well. Thank you for coming by. All right, we do have Malfurion, Thrall, and Joanna on the side of Dat Tass, and Sonya Lucio for the members of the Bush. Looking at the members of Dat Tass, their draft, they need... I was just going to say, they need wave clear, and I was going to say, that Jaina from the last game, ban it out, and there you go. We're going to be seeing that taken off the table.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what these initiations look like for the side of that Tass, though, because you have the roots from Malfurion that could lead it off. Thrall following up, shields coming out from Johanna to cause a little, nonsense going on there. But then on the side, there's so much still left for the bush, right? Do they get something like that Diablo where you have the charge in, the flip back, and then Sonya to follow up along with some kind of damage there? I'm trying to think of what that plays out as. You did mention the Arthas, still entirely viable. Lucio with the speed boost, being able to make up for that slow movement, like you said. So with that in mind, is Arthas a worthy ban here? I would say possibly yes.
That's true too. I mean, taking out that main tank might hinder them if they do know it is a huge aspect of their draft. They could also, I keep harping on it, but I think wave clear on this map is such an insanely important thing. They're actually going to go ahead and take out the ETC here. I'm not dogging ETC whatsoever, but speaking of dogs, yeah, you exact same pun at the exact same time. Just speaking of dogs, we get a Grey Mane Murden.
Beautiful. We got dog synergy over here at in this NGS series.
Yeah, exactly. Grey Mane Murden, I do like this. Murden being extremely brawly and having some, in and out, but we do currently have.
Oh, excuse me. What?
What?
Hold on, I'm catching up here.
I saw the Kael'thas, and I was like, yeah, Kael'thas, totally. That makes sense. I've been harping on this because wave clear is important in a map where you rotate between top and mid, and gems are important, and you want to get those as quick as possible. And then Thrall, I was like, Thrall's for the solo lane because you just do Echo L. What? Is Gaslow?
I mean, when you're in the playoffs, you start pulling out all the stops, right? And so if they have a pocket Gaslow, now's the time to pull it out if they want to end this 2-0. Yeah, let's see. So all right, not to harp on the Gaslow, let's look at the 4-man then of that task. Like, it's pretty decent. Like, you have the double root, gives Kael'thas some really easy targets. Kael'thas with the wave clear, Thrall with the wave clear. I don't know if they're going to do a 1-3-1. I think there's less of an impact there, and that you kind of do need that 4-man to really make it work. You mentioned the Gul'dan earlier, which now coming in at the very end of this draft.
Which I think is also great. I personally always think Gul'dan is one of the strongest mages on this map because Fellflame is phenomenal. Late game corruption stacks are just absolutely decimating. You also have boss control, and that's not something that a lot of people really are like, oh, boss control. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. But on Tomb of Spider Queen, like, boss is a huge deal. You can stack that with late game web weavers and just walk that down top lane. If you've been managing your top lane the entire time, or the enemy's top lane, and just pushing into them, it's so hard to come back from that. And the Gul'dan just it's more safety, it's more poke. He's got some self-sustain, so he doesn't need to 100% rely on his healer. So that means the healer can focus on other things. But they have that group AoE heal. Like, I'm so excited about this for the Bush.
I really want to see this Lucio deliver. I want this Lucio to have so many saving plays with that sound barrier. Ziltoid needs to do this for me. I'm asking as a personal favor. As one of the few supports I actually play in this game, Lucio, Ziltoid, make us proud here in game number 2.
So let's get into this game 2, as we do have on the left-hand side the Bush with Legacy going to be playing the Murden, Rune going to be on the Gul'dan, Ziltoid going to be on the Lucio, Jousting going to be on that Greymane, and rounding it out with Eslin going to be on the Sonya.
And trying to end this in a 2-0, we have Dat Tass, though. We're going to have Crick Dog on Gaslow, Keysby on Thrall, Crick Digger will be on Kael'thas, Hemo on Johanna, and Tavaro on Malfurion.
Let's get into this, as the teams will be splitting off into their respective lanes right away. We have the 4 members from both sides in that mid, and the solo laners going into bottom. Let's see how this kind of shapes out, as we do kind of have that first little fight breaking out here. Some shield glare coming out from Hemo Santiago, as well as some poke damage. Also just skimming through talents, it looks like we're going to be maybe getting the Pyroblast build from Kael'thas. I'm seeing the kind of in power from Fellflame. It's like 2 auto attacks are empowered, then you get some spell power as well. There's a lot of, late game bursts that can come out, as well as that Crash Lightning that we stacked up on the Gul'dan.
Yeah, so we're just going to probably be seeing that Tasso play really, really patient and not try to be as aggressive as they were. Even if they wanted to, they can possibly pull it off, but waiting for those talents to really stack, maybe depending on how long it takes, right? They could stack them extremely quickly, and then this turns into more of a mid-game win for them. Or maybe it turns into more of a late-game, post-15 type of turnaround, depending on when those are all completed. So we're going to see how they have to keep up on that, how they end up rotating, and how they approach this map overall. Everyone seems to be joining up in that top lane now, it seems.
Sorry, I was looking at talents really quickly because I've never seen this Gul'dan talent before in my entire life. Like it's either Fell Flame or Echoed Corruption, and so I was so confused as we got this chaotic energy. I mean, it works with the globes that you're going to be picking up here, but actually we have a root going down into Legacy here. Gonna get that Dwarf Toss out. There will be the Pyro Bomb, the Chain Bomb splitting off onto Ziltoid there. Legacy though making it out just fine. I was like, are we about to get the first kill of the game? Not yet.
And on a Muradin, no less, that would have been quite interesting. But no, Legacy gonna scoot away like we saw them do on Diablo last game. This Gazlo Sonya matchup is just really funny to me. Like they're both trading fairly well. I imagine at some point Gazlo might actually be able to overtake Sonya. Let's see. She did take War Paint, so she'll at least have that in lane healing. But Kurtog's doing a great job keeping Ezelin back in that bottom lane.
And actually I will say, like, Ezelin getting pushed in there towards the gates is a huge win for the Gazlo in this situation. Being able to kind of control the lane post, like, beyond the halfway point, I think is a phenomenal aspect for them here. But I will also note that both teams almost hit four almost simultaneously here. There's a little bit of a brawl breaking out in this mid. Hemo Santiago getting drained. A lot of health coming out. The Iron Skin will be popped as well. Root going to be going down into Legacy here. Not going to be getting any sort of kills just yet, but just some poke damage out from Crypt Digger in that top lane rotation, as we still, in bottom lane, just have this back and forth forever between these two.
Yeah, these two back and forth forever. Kurtog's going to have to back eventually to go get more mana, which will give Sonya a little bit of an opportunity to push back that lane in the Bush's favor. But we're going to see here now around the turn-in things heating up just a bit, trying to see if maybe we can get a potential pick on either side here. Hemo keeps going in. Johanna being a beef character, totally able to, but starting to run a little bit low. Heals come out from Tavaro, and we're going to see if Hemo can get a turn in, but it looks like Lexi is going to prevent that. And right now, both teams, they're each coming up on the amount of gems, right? We already have the amount of gems for that task. They have 50. They can get a turn in and get the first Web Weaver phase. But the Bush isn't too far behind, so we're going to start seeing a bit more focus around these shrines and making sure one team doesn't turn in before the other.
At this point, it's zero turn in for both, achievable for both as well. And you can see there's definitely going to be a lot of brawling between these. I will say this, though, the poke damage that can come out from the members of Tass, though, I think is extremely good. Though they do have some response, with Rune, as well as the, as Jostin there on that gray main. But it looks like, still, no turn-ins just yet. Murden actually saying, I'll go sneak in bottom, and Gazla's just like, I'll just put a turret next to you.
Just turrets for days from Kurt Dog. The poke machine by themselves.
Oh my god.
Not to mention, but beyond that little laser of theirs. So good job there. And I think this is a race at this point. We have 46 turned in on the side of the Bush, only 26 on the side of Tass, and looks like Joustin will be able to complete this. And we're going to see the first Web Weaver phase go to the side of the Bush. And we're going to have to see how much they can potentially get out of this first phase. If they can really get a lot of value, it'll set them really well up for later in the game. But they also have to remember there's another turn-in right around the corner for Tass. So hoping to see them get as much value as possible out of this phase.
I gotta say, I mean, first Web Weaver phase, they're really prioritizing the mid lane. Typically, we see, as I was noting a little bit in the draft about having the Gul'dan and everything and boss control, all that good stuff. Typically, you prioritize the top lane just so you have that stacked up ability, as we do just have some damage being dumped out from Kael'thas here. Crypt Digger doing a phenomenal job of just making sure they're backed off a little bit here, as well as the team maybe invading a little bit for a fight. Rune taking quite a bit of damage. No kills just yet, but just some low health bars. Curious to see if we have anyone going for the fight at this time, but it's just going to be the clear on the Web Weavers as we actually do lose Thrall. First kill of the game going over to the Bush.
Getting a little bit greedy there, trying to make something happen, but It's the first kill. It's not the end of the world, but we are going to see now that level leads start to come for the Bush. They're going to rotate top and keep pushing this, like you said, and if they can get this fort down, as you were mentioning before, this is great set up for getting that boss later in the game, even potentially sooner rather than later, right? Why not cause an early distraction if you think you can swing it? So we're going to have to see how much they're going to prioritize that and when. Now that the Web Weaver's gone, they're going to keep pushing and see how much value they can get out of this small minion wave here. It doesn't look like they're going to get too much else, so they're going to go and back away.
And this is going to be turn-in availability for the members of Tass, though. So it's one thing that they're going to need to consider on the side of the Bush is actually they're going to need to make sure that they do not allow them to get that turn in and start to get this momentum in their favor. As long as you can keep pushing in the enemy team, not allowing them to get, into the objective, not allowing them to split off into their lanes as needed, that is going to be the big hindrance that I think they're going to be looking for on the side of the Bush here, as they are controlling bottom fairly well. Mid lane is, I think they're prioritizing this a lot here over the top because they don't want to take a lane that they don't want to push too far out in the lane and then get caught out and then come back, be taken down from their almost level advantage that they have.
Right. And I mean, speaking of level advantage, 10 is right around the corner here, and we're gonna have to see. I'm trying to think, preemptively what these heroics might be. No need to worry, we'll get them soon. So I won't stress about it too much. Legacy going to go in, try to see if they can do anything to Kurt Dog, who's just gonna back away behind the safety of that turret. And now we finally have level 10 talent. So we're going to see maybe the Bush wants to force a fight now while they have this small window of time. But it looks like they're going to clear. There are this camp pushing through the mid lane. Legacy is looking very low as well. So not really a lot of potential to force a team fight there.
And without being able to force the team fight, they actually kind of got poked back there. It allows them to get that turn in. And now 10's almost achieved. They want to take this fight. The root is going to be out to make sure that they don't get killed here. All they need is like a minion to get this 10, as we do have for both teams achieved nothing too out of the ordinary. That Horrify, that Break It Down, Go for the Throat, Avatar, and Wrath Berserker on the side of the Bush, but they're going to need to go ahead and clear out these Web Weavers as they descend. And that's also, just really quickly, that's a Gravel Bomb.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that. Gravel Bomb plus Earthquake? I'm just thinking of the potential there, right? You throw down Earthquake, if enemy members are a bit more on the outskirts, you have the Gravel Bomb to pull in. The Earthquake does go down. Rune is looking so low, but Johanna's going to go down first, but followed by the Gul'dan. It's a 1-for-1 trade right now as Eslin tries to go back, whirlwinding their heart out, being able to take down the Kael'thas, but the health bars on the Bush are so low.
They got this fight. They got, 1-for-2 trade, so it's in favor for the Bush here. In their clear, but the thing is, at the same time, they delayed this out for so long that the Web Weavers did get a fair amount of push in all these lanes. So overall, they traded 2 members into 1 for quite a bit of Web Weaver value. I do think this worked out for them fairly well, as it looks like they're going to continue to work down this bottom lane and just open this up a little bit more. This is definitely a map that, as you progress throughout it, it is key to just open it up and not have these retreat paths, not have these openings for your enemy to rotate away through, because some of this map is basically just getting them a little too far out and then just taking them down here, as it looks like there is turn-in available for the members of the Bush, and it looks like we do have a huge fight breaking out. We are going to be having the sounds coming out from the Malfurion at this time. We also have the Phoenix out from the Kael'thas. So many members low here. That will be Lucio falling first, and they do push them back. No turn-in happening just yet. Legacy going to be walking into a whole lot of damage in this mid lane. That is going to be the Kael'thas trying to get it. Gul'dan going to be falling, and Legacy is going to get out once again. It's almost like their favorite thing to do in every single game is just get out with barely any health, as Sonya turned in enough, but just 1 shy.
Oh, 1 shy must feel terrible, but at least getting those in just so you don't have to be afraid of dying and losing those gems. Although, still attempting to turn in, it seems, with a couple remaining, but with just Legacy and Eslin, this might be a little bit difficult for the Bush. Legacy says, I'm going to try anyway, but is met with 3 members of Tass, though. They're going to be able to push off that turn in just a little bit more. Keysby with 18 also trying to turn in, but for now, both teams just going to poke a little, turn in a little, and the Bush waiting for the members to rejoin now that everyone's back up. Have a bit more of an opportunity to force a fight, but with 13 coming out from the side of Tass might not be the best idea.
Oh, there's going to be the Gravel Bomb right into the Horrify, so a little anti-synergy, or at least a little counter into that, as it looks like they go ahead, getting a ton of damage out of this cooldown. That will be the kill that they needed, and it actually, they don't even have the turn in at this point. You have the Sonya rotating up, and that is going to be the Murden falling as well. Eslin might have benefited from just sneaking that turn in at this point, and it doesn't look like they're going to have the availability for that as they go ahead and get 2 kills on the side of that Tass. Ice? Fuck, use. That was confusing.
I actually couldn't tell. But it's interesting that, okay, so Murden's going to be up in 5 seconds. I initially was going to say Sonya going in for the turn-in was an interesting choice with members down. But with everything being back up, they'll be able to push with it. That's fine. But now they have to respond to this boss call that they know that Tass is making, who pretty much have it down. It looks like they have grabbed it. And now they're going to at least have a counter push against this top web weaver. So don't necessarily need to focus as much energy there. And we're going to see that Tass rotating down toward mid to start taking care of that web weaver.
At this point, yeah, the boss will be cleared out in top, and this just gives time for them to do exactly as you said. Get this clear onto the web weavers. Continue to basically just not allow them to get any sort of advantage. Gazla goes down there and will have the easy clear on this. I don't think that they're going to get much. I think they're actually going to even just rotate the rest of the team for some help in this situation. Top lane, though, pretty healthy web weaver. They've got a long way to go, so definitely very calculated on the side of Tass, though, making sure that they're kind of prioritizing the lanes fairly well, because it looks like they are going to be able to rotate up and start to protect their keep front gate. Cat Peach, question is, do they get the value that they're looking for on the side of the bush?
I mean, both teams have all heroics up, so it'll be very easy to punish the bush if they go in a bit too far, and they have the potential to have those towers assist in some of that damage. Earthquake did come out, but so did the Horrify. Again, potential to have the root, but it ends up pushing everyone away with that Horrify. Silence comes out from Malfurion. Lucio starting to get a bit low, ends up backing out. Sonya ends up going down in the midst of all of this, losing a ton of gems for the side of the bush. Greymane attempting to do one last dive, ends up going to the pound, and we're going to see that Tass trying to see what else they can capture, if they can get any more picks. But they're going to have to be careful. Hemo, still a bit low on damage, but they're going to focus on getting their gems turned in as soon as possible. They have enough for their next web weaver and have a bit more time before the members of the bush have revived, so they're going to be able to start clearing these lanes, prepping them for the web weaver. And we already have mid without a fort on the side of the bush. So are we going to see them attempt to get that mid keep?
I gotta say, I mean, I think this is a strong play for them. Definitely, they have the 14 to 16 advantage. They should play this as hard as they can. Maybe even try and just get a couple more picks here. Continue to get the snowball effect that they've been kind of getting at this point. With, the couple kills they got, as well as the level advantage that they have. I'm just like kind of like holding my breath a little bit, because I mean this is I won't say this is, you know, a do or die situation, but it can go very south very quickly. Webweaver in the top lane already working down that fort. That's already going to be pressured up, as it looks like mid's going to be cleared out fairly easily. Horrify going to come out only on Hemo Santiago, so that is going to be down at this time. Cat Peach, we've got some poke damage coming out, but are they able to push him further?
It doesn't... Well, Earthquake's going to come out and see about that. Grab a Bomb also as well, keeping the members of the bush in there. Like, he's going to try to go in and see what they can do. But now we're going to start seeing members of that task get very low. Malfurion is the first to go down. And the members of that task immediately retreat now that they don't have their support. Kurt Dog was so low in that fight. If the bush got another kill there, that would have been so beneficial. For now, they're going to go finish clearing out these web weavers before they can do any more damage. They have managed to keep all their keeps at this time, so that is a big focus of relief for them. There's still a pretty big minion wave on the bottom lane, though, that they are now going to respond to. And in 10 seconds, when Malfurion is up, what are these teams going to be doing? Neither of them necessarily have a turn in. Boss isn't available. There's a couple camps available on the map. You're going to see that task go for the Bruiser. Probably going to see the same come out of the bush, just to make sure they have equal pressure there, which leaves one camp there at the bottom. And I'm wondering if anyone's going to be gutsy enough to maybe dive in and get it. That task, making eyes on it first.
I think, yeah, they'll be able to go ahead and they grab this. And realistically, I mean, to answer exactly what you asked, this is the situation where you get into this late game where it's basically maybe a couple ganks here and there. I mean, realistically, it's almost rotating safely. You do see how they are kind of sticking to the right side of the map here, and they're going to go in for this clear into mid, and it's just creating pressure for your enemy to deal with, and then just, you know, dealing with the pressure that they're creating, because at this point, most of the teams are just rotating around for gems, getting these camps pushed back, and then once they run out of stuff to do, I think we're going to start seeing some setups for some ganks, but overall, it's just going to be prepping of lanes for potential web weavers in the opposing team's favor.
It just sort of hit me how many anti-Lucio speed boost tools that Tass has on their side with the Gravi-Bomb and with the Earthquake. It didn't really like phase me at first, but now that I'm looking at it more and more and seeing how these fights are playing out, being able to cancel out that escape, oh golly, we're gonna see a face check in the bush, and immediately 2 members of the bush end up going down. And we're going to see Legacy attempting to get out 14 gems that they don't want to lose. Is it enough? Greymane coming in, taking down 2 on the side of that Tass. And oh my goodness, that was an interesting amount of hiding that we saw. That was very... My brain's catching up on everything that just happened. Oh my goodness.
I gotta say, major kudos though to Joustin during that. You know, targeting the two, the Thrall and the Malfurion there, who were just absolutely so low and lingering for way too long. Definitely punishing that, and that actually could have been extremely dire if those 2 members didn't die. I really wonder what kind of situation we'd be looking at for this game. I also just gonna say really quickly, Kurt Dog on that Gazlo with the clear on the TNT there with all the also just talented abilities for it. They actually pushed themselves in for turn-in at this time. Might be looking for it, as they do currently have a couple posturing around here, but not going for that turn-in just yet. And it's also now online for the members of the Bush. 18 to 19 and a half, though.
Yeah, I feel like if that Tass ends up getting this turn-in, which they will, they have such a prime opportunity now, and the Bush needs to just focus on defense, focus on not getting caught in those earthquakes necessarily, making sure that they're protecting that Lucio, maybe Lucio stepping back a bit more and not getting caught in those slows, in those Gravi-Bombs, so that they can escort their team to safety if necessary. But with these 3 web weavers now going to keeps, this is pretty dire for the side of the Bush. We're going to see Jousting going right in. The fear comes out, and first down is going to be Kurt Dog. Phoenix does come out, though, and 2 members go down from the side of the Bush. Sonya's going to quickly follow. This isn't looking good for the Bush, as Legacy looks like they might go down as well. Able to leap on out of there as that dwarf can, but Rune also not looking too great. Johanna and Keysby swiftly taking her out, and now with only Legacy to defend, this does not look good for the Bush.
The double TNT that was dropped there from the Gazlo, even Ziltoy going to be going ahead and dropping the GGs. It looks like they're going to move on to core, and I think with an upset here, that is going to be Dat Tass beating the Bush 2-0 in this best-of-3 series, moving on in the playoffs and taking the Bush out.
Yeah, their draft synergy, their ability to execute with those combinations, definitely put them ahead in this series.